This copyrighted broadcast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield IMG College. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the expressed written consent of Learfield IMG College.
History has been made, but we're not done yet. On this week's show, we'll sit down with one of the major stars of the UMass hockey team, which won its first ever Hockey East regular season title. Carl Pierre has had the hot hand recently for UMass hoops, as we spend a few minutes with one of the top shooting guards in the Atlantic 10. Plus, we check out how UMass prepares student athletes for life after college, as well as getting a behind-the-scenes taste test from the #1 dining service in the nation. So set the table and get ready to dig in. The UMass Sports Insider starts now. Hello and welcome into the UMass Sports Insider. I'm Jay Burnham and it is great to be with you here today. We're going to start this week's show with the historic season that UMass hockey has had this year as they roll directly into the postseason. One of the biggest stories and stars of the team this year has been local product John Leonard, who grew up here in Amherst right in the shadows of the Mullins Center. Now, Leonard is stepping into the spotlight during a season for the ages as the Minutemen continue their storybook year.
Here comes Leonard moving it, deep shoot, score! John Leonard!
You know, me and my buddies talk about it all the time. When we were growing up, how we always wanted to come here. You know, it'd be cool for, you know, the five of us who always used to come to the games to be able to play here, and obviously it's a big honor for me. I like to think I'm a skilled forward who has a pretty good shot. I like having the puck on my stick and making plays. And then what I hope people see is a hard-working player who doesn't only care about offense, who can play in all three zones, and it's just always doing whatever it takes for the team to win.
John came to us as a high-profile kid, especially being a hometown kid, and he's not let us down on the offensive side. He, to me, is as dangerous as an offensive player as there is in Hockey East that we've competed against.
Rebound to Leonard, score!
You know, no matter where you play, and you know you're gonna have a lot of pressure on you, and you know you just gotta block it out and just take it slow and game by game and things like that. And you know, the coaching staff we have here and you know the facilities we have a lot of things that you know help you kind of block that kind of stuff out and just play hockey and you know be able to play your game.
Score. Leonard ties it at 1.
Yeah, Leno's no different than any other player in that they feel there's trust and there's a relationship built on trust and honesty, then you can be constructive. Leno's a guy you can bring in the office and say, hey, this is what we need from you. And he'll looks you square in the eyes and understands and goes out and tries his best to adjust.
The goal for me was just to help this team win a championship, you know, do whatever I can to make that true. And, you know, right now we're on a path to, you know, doing something special here. And as long as you stay on track, we should be pretty good.
Everything he's done is because he's decided he's wanted to do it. You know, it's our job as coaches to give the guidance and make them aware, but it's always up to the player to make the changes and the adjustments and the commitment and the sacrifices and the attitude and the effort, and he's done all that. If we want to find success on the ice, you know, into March, we need a kid like Leno to really lead the charge with his all-around play.
It's always a hope and dream for a young kid to set goals in life for the sport that they love, and I had goals in pretty much every sport that I was playing, and fortunate enough, hockey worked out best for me, and curious to see where it takes me.
Well, the Minutemen continue to set new records, and players like John are a big reason why they've been able to do so this year. And you can be sure that we'll continue to follow the hockey program throughout its postseason run. Let's stay on the ice as one of the major national hockey personalities, John Butchergross, recently stopped by the Mullins Center to see the Minutemen for himself live and in person. He was able to sit down with our Tim Neverett to chat and catch up on his thoughts on the UMass hockey historic season.
From ESPN, John Butchergross. John, great seeing you.
Great to be here.
A couple of things. You're a Hobie Baker voter.
Yeah, I am this year for the first time.
So good. For the first time, you could vote for a guy here from UMass.
Yeah.
So put you on the spot. What do you think of Cale Makar?
Well, obviously that first period kind of really set the tone for what he's done all year. He really reminds me of Charlie McAvoy, the way McAvoy plays. He's daring, obviously offensive-minded, ultra-talented, and tough and strong. So I can't believe the jump he's made from last year. I know you've seen it. And so for him to score that goal, it's pretty apropos to get that goal in the first period. Then I keep them in this thing at 2-1.
Yeah, there's a lot of speed. He built up his strength, went to Calgary this offseason and did a lot of work back at home. And you can tell that his speed and strength have changed quite a bit.
Yeah, he plays a man game now.
Yeah,
and last year he didn't have that element. He's ready for the NHL. Clearly, he wasn't after last year. I always think kids should stay an extra year just in case. When in doubt, stay that extra year. Get closer to your degree if he wants to. I mean, he's going to make $30-40 million in the NHL. He probably won't need that degree. But, you know, if the parents would like him to see him get it, take some. I know Torrey Krug just got his degree. He certainly didn't need it. He'll make plenty of money in the NHL. But so hopefully 2 years at an institution like this, get kind of close to your degree, make it a goal. Good things to do in the offseason and as you play pro hockey. But he's ready for pro hockey, and he's certainly in the Hobie discussion.
Well, let's talk about the hashtag for a minute, okay? College hockey.
Right.
It's not spelled any way I learned how to spell it.
No.
But how'd you come up with that? And I know it's done a lot to help promote college hockey.
Yeah, me and Scott Van Pelt, Scott does accents very well all over the world. And my parents grew up in Boston, South Boston, and I was raised in the Midwest. And so my friends like to come over just to hear my parents talk. They like to hear that Boston accent. John, get in the car.
So do you have to translate?
I did back then.
Yeah,
I did. But now they're back in New England, and I'm in New England, and so it's just college hockey. I just threw it out there on Twitter one night. It got a little bit of traction. This was probably 6-7 years ago. We just stayed with it. Now we sell hats and T-shirts and give the money to hockey-related charities. So it's been fun. We've given away over $200,000 in charities from selling hats out of my house by myself. So it's been really fun.
I asked you if you had one of those hats with you earlier today, and you sold them out.
I passed them out to the kids. The big line coming into the game. We gave them free pizza and a couple of lids. So it was a pretty good night for the kids.
That's a pretty good night.
Yeah.
What do you think of this UMass program and the meteoric rise it's had under
It's unreal.
Carvel?
It's unreal. From the top down, the amount of money they were able to raise. I just was in the weight room. It's beautiful, has that new car smell still. It's a really state-of-the-art weight room. And what they've done to freshen the place up, it's really impressive. And now to have Cale, who will be in the NHL maybe at the end of this year, hopefully not. So UMass wins the national championship. He won't be able to play. He could go for the playoffs.
Good.
If they're able to come from behind, they're not in there right now. But, he'll spread the word around. It should help the program. But, man, I love the student section. They're really engaged. It's just a great vibe. And I know, when you call a game, you want to have an atmosphere. And you have a great seat here. You're right in the middle of it. So it's a great crowd. It's an engaged crowd. It's a witty, funny student section. It's what college hockey is all about.
John Butchergross joining us from ESPN.
Such a cool moment to have a personality like John Butchergross from ESPN join us here at the Mullins Center. It's time for our first break, but stay close. When we come back, we'll sit down with one of the rising stars on the hardwood as Boston's own Carl Pierre looks to establish himself as a top-tier shooting guard in the Atlantic 10. Don't go far.
This is the place where planets collide, where Pulitzer and Fulbright are full-time residents, where 28,000 brilliant young minds from 65 countries call home. This is the place that propels the state and lifts the world. UMass Amherst, this is the place.
The Learfield Directors Cup, the highly recognized mark of distinction in college athletics across all divisions, both men's and women's sports. Follow your favorite team's pursuit for excellence in this prestigious annual award through thedirectorscup.com, USA Today, or at L Directors Cup on Twitter or Facebook. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics since 1993.
The best of Las Vegas is coming to the heart of New England. This is a first.
Welcome back to the UMass Sports Insider. It's hard to believe that shooting guard Carl Pierre was actually under-recruited coming out of high school. The Boston native has been an impact player for the Minutemen and is on track to be one of the best shooting guards in UMass program history.
Pierre, a pull from three, yes! We, says Pierre.
I wouldn't say I was just coming in expecting to have a lot of success. I mean, it's a new level. It's a lot tougher than high school. But I mean, I was pretty confident in my work ethic, and I knew I would have an opportunity to make plays for my team and get minutes. Coach McCall told me that, and he told me that I had to earn my minutes and just the opportunity would be there. So I just tried to make the most of my opportunity every night.
We really try to talk about our 4 core values a lot: team, passion, toughness, discipline. And Carl embodies all 4 of those, both on and off the floor. On the floor, just a tremendous work ethic, always puts the team first, always puts winning first. Nothing else matters to him. If we go out there and win and he scores 1 point, he'd probably be one of the happiest guys in the locker room. If we go out there and lose and he goes for 30, he'll be one of the most disappointed guys in the locker room.
The kick out to Pierre, don't leave him open. Got it! Woo!
I just have to stay the course, keep staying true to my work ethic, and just try to be consistent every day. And I think I was confident that eventually things would fall into place and that things would start clicking.
Puts a tremendous amount of pride in his craft. Puts a lot of pressure on himself too to be a really, really good player. Carl's earned everything he's gotten all the way up until this point of his career. He's really, really worked to get himself to the level that he is right now.
I feel like a big goal for me is, and it's still a big goal, is just to make the tournament and make a run. I mean, UMass basketball was great in the past, and I think we have a chance to bring it back to what it was, and I think that's always been a goal for me. And individually, I still want to be one of the greats to come out of here.
Being from the state, I think it means a little bit more to him as far as how important it is being here. He takes a lot of pride in that. A guy that didn't have a ton of offers, didn't have any offers coming out of high school, to get an offer from his in-state school, his in-state university, and to see what he's doing now on this stage is really, really impressive.
I feel like last year, I was a lot quieter, tried to lead by example. I was just trying to see the layout of the scene, and I think this year I've been a lot more vocal than I was last year.
I think he's just got to continue to be a leader. He leads by example, both on and off the floor, with the way he carries himself, always doing the right thing, about the right things, just continuing to learn how to be a vocal leader. That's a lot to put on a sophomore's plate in college, but Carl can handle it, and he wants it. And he just needs to continue to grow and get better in that role for us in order for us to keep marching forward with this program.
Carl was the top three-point shooting freshman in the NCAA a year ago, and though he's had some struggles at the beginning of this season, he's really ramped it up for the Minutemen to lead the team down the stretch. It's time for another quick break, but when we come back, we'll take a look at some career-developing programs for our student athletes and get to go behind the scenes of UMass dining. See you when we return.
I think he made 60 saves against Boston College.
Maine winning in overtime, triple OT against UMass. I'll always remember Kevin Law picking up the Hockey East trophy and hoisting it.
Who will make history this year at the 35th Hockey East Championship? Get your tickets at the TD Garden box office or Ticketmaster.com.
That weekend here in March, playing down here at the Garden, those games are always a fan's dream.
On this stage, under these bright lights, the Atlantic 10 Men's Basketball Championship returns. 14 teams, one trophy.
The City of Champions will crown another champion when the 2019 Atlantic 10 Women's Basketball Championship comes to the A.J. Palumbo Center on the campus of Duquesne University. The top teams in the Atlantic 10 will vie for the title and an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. Friday, March 8th through Sunday, March 10th, 2019. Purchase your tickets now and cheer on your favorite team at the A10 Women's Basketball Championship.
In the Atlantic 10, she can compete. She can win. She can lead. And she can succeed. In the Atlantic 10, she can do it all.
Welcome back to The Insider. Twice a year, UMass Athletics offers special programming for student athletes geared towards helping them professionally after college. As part of the Spring Maroon Connections Week, we were able to stop by one evening for a panel of alumni who gave their insight into how to best navigate and plan for a successful career.
We had the start of our Maroon Connections Week, which is programming that we do for all of our student athletes. Each of the classes have events that they come to regarding their career planning. Here in the Campus Center Auditorium, we had the programming for our juniors. We had a student alumni career panel that came out. 6 of our former student athletes came out tonight in order to share their experiences, not only here on campus, but in their careers, and shared that with our student athletes as they're looking for internships and looking for jobs in their future.
Anytime you have a chance to give back, whether that be to old or young, it was an amazing feeling. You know, it was a very interactive group, but to give back and talk to athletes that were in my shoes once, it was a great feeling. I love it. My message was more so, don't be just an athlete, but be a student athlete. Academics is crucial, education is key. However, you know, you can't play whatever sport it is. Let's just say you're blessed to go on to that level, you can't play that forever. So come to school, use the academic piece to your benefit. Take advantage and kind of seize the moment that they have now.
The experience of hearing someone that was in my footsteps and is now done what I wanted to do and now is past that is huge and monumental, because this doesn't last forever, this life. So what he told me today is something that I'm gonna use going forward from here on out that he didn't have when he was coming up. He didn't have someone in his ear saying what he just said to us, so I'm gonna take advantage of that.
They were so personable, so willing to talk about like whatever we were into. I talked to a guy who works in finance. He had nothing to do with my marketing degree, and he was just so willing to talk about like what career path would interest me in his field, what type of thing would be able to transfer from my degree into like the tech field. He was just very passionate, and I think I got a lot from his passion more than anything. Like, he was just excited to be here, excited to talk to me, and that made me feel great.
I think the job market has changed a lot in how people used to get a job. Was all about, here, apply to XYZ company position and you'll be in that position for the rest of your life. You'll retire and you'll have a nice pension. And unfortunately, that's just not the way the job market works anymore. It's all about connections, it's all about referrals, and it's okay to not have your dream job in your first job. That's fine. You're probably not gonna make a lot of money doing it, but there are a lot of number of steps you can take to get there a little bit faster. Well, I think people are really quick to say everything will be okay. And it's not. You've got to take proactive steps in order to achieve success, just like you did in practice, so that on game day you can score a goal. It all takes a process, and until someone tells you what the process is, you're not gonna know. I think this is a great opportunity. I wish I had it when I was here as a student athlete. You know, I think the biggest takeaway that kids can take as they go through sort of their student athlete experience is it's a very unique thing to be a Division I athlete. However, there are a lot of us out there in the world who are alums. Maybe they didn't go to your college, maybe they didn't do your sport, but maybe they recognize something in you about themselves, and so they want to extend a hand to you to try to get you up and lift you to where you can be.
Younger athletes, I think you guys have an opportunity of a lifetime. If you're really serious about your life after football, after school, you definitely should get in with Maroon Connections. You definitely should talk to the alumni, talk to the seniors, upperclassmen, and ask very heavy, open-ended questions and try to see what their mind is at, so you can potentially set yourself up for ultimate success in the future, because you'll have the knowledge that no one else has.
The quote, "hindsight is 20/20, comes to mind. All of these guys have just been through this process before, and they've learned so much, and they're willing to pass that on. And I just want to get everything I can out of this and it's kind of making me excited to do the same whenever I get to that position. I hope that I can come back and do the same thing that they're doing.
Certainly some great advice there and an excellent resource for our current student athletes as they plan the next chapters in their lives. Well, UMass offers so many resources to our student athletes, but one item that is usually front and center when talking to recruits is the university's #1 ranked dining services. Food is fuel, as they say, so we sent our own Sports Network correspondents Jake Mackey and Megan Parsons over to the Blue Wall Dining Center to get a first-hand look or a first-hand taste.
Blue Wall is a place where a lot of our student athletes like to come and fuel up before games. Today, we're going to take a look at 2 specific establishments and talk to the head chefs and how they make their creations. So let's get to it. We're here inside Blue Wall at Tamales. I'm here with my friend Edwin. Edwin's going to show us how to make a rice bowl here today, the most popular thing here at Tamales.
So we go in, first of all, with choice of the rice. So we have white rice and brown rice.
So what do you think some of the benefits, especially over here, you talk about the protein section in terms of feeding like student athletes? Do you think this is something that really helps them out over here in terms of being able to get their protein in a dish like this? Because I feel like something like tamales, being able to have a burrito bowl, you can really kind of get different things in once in terms of vegetables and proteins.
Yeah, this is one of the things, like, because we got a choice of things, like, even if we have, like, local things too, like,
Yep.
So that's the thing we have, like, we got a choice.
Yeah.
Like, so we're giving a little bit of space. Cover it up. Lock
Tuck it in.
Lock it so don't drip too much. Then just squeeze a little bit and roll it gently. There we go. That's a burrito right there.
Should I spread it out more? That's good.
That's good for you.
All right, I'm gonna go with the pork. Now, would you say the most popular of these 3 is the chicken on a daily basis for
On a daily basis, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so now we're gonna wrap it, and we're gonna leave it here. It's just too thick to wrap.
It's kind of thick.
All right, I think I could just eat it like this and tortilla around. All right, thank you so much, Edwin. We really appreciate this. I'm gonna go sink right into this burrito bowl that I just made here that you walked me through. I'm gonna toss it over to Megan, who's over at Tavola.
I'm Megan Parsons here with Nabil, the head chef at Tavola. For us students, Tavola is known for its delicious hummus bowls and salad, and my personal favorite, the best pita bread in the world. Nabil, what do you got for us today?
We have today hummus bowl, falafel with fresh pita bread. Yeah.
Awesome, let's get started.
Yep.
And that gives it its perfect round shape.
Yep.
Typically, how long do these have to fry in here?
5-6 minutes.
So this machine here kind of just flattens it out.
Sink hummus.
All right, so hummus first.
Yeah.
Spread it all around there.
Yeah. And vegetable salad.
And what's here in here? We got tomato, cucumber.
Fresh parsley.
That color.
Yeah, it's good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So you wanted a nice golden color?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. You see?
So like on the one right there? Yup. You want that all the
yeah.
way around.
Yeah.
That's when you know it's done.
seconds,
It's
yeah.
perfect. The pita bread fresh out of the oven.
And olive oil. That's it.
And it's done. Look how good that looks. Well, Nabil, thank you so much for showing me how to make a hummus bowl. This is one of the most popular things here. I cannot wait to try this.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks again, UMass Dining, for giving us a behind-the-scenes look at how some of our favorite dishes are made. I'll see you at Blue Wall.
Man, that makes me hungry just thinking about it. Thanks to our correspondents for that piece. And certainly that food is a big perk when you think about what the student athletes need to be successful in their respective sports. It's time for our last break, but when we come back, we put some of our baseball players to the test with a quick inning of charades. We'll see you on what we call the lighter side. Welcome back. Baseball players are notorious for finding ways to entertain themselves with a lot of downtime. From rain delays to extra innings, the dugout can be a very entertaining place. Today on the lighter side, we decide to test their abilities with a fun game of charades.
Dab. Drinking water.
Deb. Drinking water.
Spike, Gronk spike. Spiking a football. Spike, touchdown. Eating a sub.
Dribble, dunk. Dunk. Batting stance, swing. Home run.
Clearly, these guys are going to have some really good team chemistry this year, but we got to figure out that whole hot dog piece. That's it for this episode of UMass Sports Insider. Thanks for checking us out. Big thanks to our entire crew, and big thanks to you for tuning in. Until next time from Amherst, my name's Jay Burnham saying so long, everybody.
This has been a presentation of Learfield IMG College.